Hi, I'm Romy.
And I'm Nicole. Welcome to the Her Pursuit Pod, where we share our journey of building our business, The Daily Drip, a dynamic media platform that provides content and community for more than 4,000 South Florida female CEOs, founders, business owners, executives, and professionals.
Whether it's through our newsletter, events, or this podcast, our hope is to inspire your next big move and arm you with the tools you need to crush it. So tune in on your drive to work, wind down with us after a long day as we share our journey and the journeys of other remarkable business leaders on Her Pursuit.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Her Pursuit. I'm Nicole, and I'm the co-founder of The Daily Drip, and I'm joined here with Romy Wallach, our co-founder, and we're joined again by the Children's Harbor team. We have with us Tiffani Dhooge, President and CEO of Children's Harbor, and Karen Ross, who is a proud board member, both Daily Drippers, two of our proud Daily Drip thought leaders. And we're here to continue the deep dive into Children's Harbor, one of the local organizations in South Florida that is serving children, specifically teens, in foster care. And so today we wanted to dedicate a whole episode to one of the initiatives that you guys have that's very near and dear to my heart and was very moving for me. And I'm going to tell the story of how I learned about it. And this is your Holiday Hope campaign. And the premise of it is to make childhood happen. Tiffani, I will never forget, this was not last year or the year before, so 2 years ago, Eric Chafin, your director of development, he and I had connected through the community networking. We built a pretty decent relationship. And I remember sitting at my desk one day and I get an email from him. And it was clearly an email that he had sent to multiple people. But I read it. And he went and talked about, can you help us make the holidays happen for our kids? And he talked about the fact that because Children's Harbor is serving teens in foster care, making the holidays happen isn't as simple as a toy drive. And he went into sharing a lot of the stories around some of the challenges you guys face in delivering the holidays for these kids and the things that are missing, that are triggering, or the things that they want that they can't have, and all of this. And I remember reading it, and at the end, I just kind of like stopped for a second. And I'm sitting there thinking about how I torture myself to make everything perfect for Sebastian. My son is 8, okay? And if I told you the hours of sleep I have lost over trying to make everything so fucking magical for this kid, and perfect. I'm talking everything. First day of school, first day of preschool, Christmas, the traditions, the memories. And I'm sitting here and I'm reading this email and I'm trying to imagine kids that have come through horrors and they didn't have that magic making before they got to Children's Harbor. And now they're at Children's Harbor, and the idea that there is a community trying to make magic for these kids, I immediately was like, I have to be a part of this. This is really upsetting to me. So at the time, we had about, what did we have, Rome? Maybe 20 thought leaders at the time. We were much smaller than we are now. This is 2 years ago. And our Daily Drip thought leaders, they're the ones that are creating a lot of the content. We have a little group chat. And so I copy pasted Eric's email and I put it in the group chat. And I said, guys, I just got this email. I'm going and getting gift cards, because that was the specific request he had. He wanted gift cards. If you can get gift cards to, and if you think about what teens like, Sephora, Target, Amazon, like the things he was asking for, I was like, oh my God, this is insane. So I'm like, I'm going and getting gift cards. If anyone would like to join me and Zelle me or put in a pot, we'll start a pot and we can do let's do a gift card drive.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, in 1 hour, I'm not even kidding. In 1 hour, we had, I want to say, over $2,500 in the chat, right?
I did not know that.
Yeah. And so I went to Walgreens and I had to go to 3 different Walgreens. 3 different Walgreens because they cut you off, FYI. You can't just go and buy thousands of dollars of gift cards. They think you're like scamming. So I had to go to 3 different Walgreens, but I got a whole variety of gift cards, everything that he requested. And I said, hey, I saw your email. I wanna participate in this. Can we meet for coffee? Eric had no idea that all of that had already happened. So we went and met at a local coffee shop. And I just had a bag and it was just full of gift cards. And I said, here. And he goes, what is this? And I said, it's about $2,500 in gift cards. Like, go bring it back. Like, don't drive around with this in your car, right? Because I'm not doing this again. I just drove all over to different Walgreens. And he was just, I mean, he was dumbfounded. He was completely shocked. He couldn't believe like how quickly, because he had done that email the day before, right? Like, so it was in 24 hours. He sent that email. I put it in the chat. We got the money, we got the gift cards, and I said, let's meet tomorrow for coffee. And so, and to your point, Karen, it was one ask. It was one text drop. And so I think I wanted to kick off this episode with that story because it has been the thing. I've been drawn to Children's Harbor ever since that email that he sent, and ever since that story, and ever since I learned and even thought about a scenario where there are kids who don't have people driving themselves nuts to make everything magical for them. And so if you could talk to us a little bit about it's Holiday Hope campaign, right? What's the Holiday Hope campaign? Because I understand this campaign is something that's helping make childhood happen all year long, not just for the holidays, right? We're talking Halloween costumes.
Yes, for the entire season, because there is, this is the most exciting time for a kid. Like Halloween's coming, then you have Thanksgiving, and then you have all of the stuff involved with December. I mean, everything from making gingerbread houses, which I'm obsessed with ensuring that these kids that they have a real Christmas. So they get to do all of the things. Like we're going to make ornaments together, and we're going to have you're going to have your first stocking. I can't tell you how many of them never put their name on a stocking. So every year, that's a journey with the that's a lot. That's not going to hang. That's a lot of bedazzled going. There's a lot going on with this stocking. But doing all of the things, like all of the family holiday things, and all of that costs money. So first of all, Eric's going to be so moved by that. I don't think he's ever heard that story, and it really is going to encourage him. So I'm going to repeat that when I get back to the office. When I'm going to repeat it, try to repeat it just as eloquently as you did. But that's going to mean so much to him that first of all, that you read the email and that you went through all of that too, because no one wants to give to teenagers. Like when it comes to the holidays, most people want to adopt a 7-year-old boy. He's the same age as my child, and I want to teach him how to give back, and we're going to go, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's a great principle. But, I'm going to go to Walmart or to Target. We're going to pick out a toy for a boy just like him, and he's going to learn the value of giving back. And that's great because there are a lot of young children who are in foster care that also need support. But teenagers get left behind. And I cannot tell you how many times all we have had in my tenure in the field, not at Children's Harbor, where all we have had to give a teenager is a perfume pack from Walgreens, those generic perfume, like a Britney Spears perfume pack, and like maybe a $20 gift card.
Right.
That's it for Christmas. While their sibling is getting huge amounts of toys and because that's what came in. You only have what you came in. And I think that the general public just doesn't understand that, yes, you have state contracts, but those contracts are paying for 3 meals a day and sheets on your bed. There is $0 that you are allowed, that's the other thing, allowed to allocate. If you did allocate that money from your state contract to Christmas, you would be penalized for it. That is not what the money is for. You cannot just allocate the money to Christmas presents. So everything that we are able to do for our kids during the holiday season comes from the private community.
And if you've got teenagers, like the things that we take for granted that our kids are wearing and wanting, yes. There's so much more to it. Like, it's easy to be like, ugh, like another shirt, another whatever, but these things, the shoes, these things that are trending, it helps them create a self of sense. Mm-hmm. Like it helps them like sort of discover who they are. It's how they show up. Like it's part of figuring out who they are as people. And it makes a big difference. They feel confident when they're wearing something that they feel good in, and so to have to then be around other kids and not have access to things that we take for granted is something so basic, mm-hmm. right? I have a question, and I don't know if this is going to take us off a little bit, but when the holidays roll around, are the families of these kids, do they have any connection? Like, are they allowed to see them? Do their families that they've been removed from, do they see them at Christmas?
Some of them have relationship with extended family members. So they are allowed to see their extended family members. For instance, we have a young girl whose aunt lives out of state and is not able to care for her full time, but is able to do like 2-week visits. So she's able to go see her aunt for a 2-week period of time, and then she needs to come back to campus. So some of our kids do have familial relations that are healthy, and they are able to spend unsupervised time with them. But the large majority of our kids do not have family support systems.
You mentioned, Halloween, the costumes, Thanksgiving, the holidays, and then, but what about like back to school? Like, what about, when I think about what I spent on Sebastian for back to school, the shoes, the kid needed 3 pairs of shoes. We've had a new backpack every year, a new lunchbox every year.
No, you have to have a new You have to have a fresh backpack every year. You can't use the same backpack.
I know. God
what are you?
When I think about it too, I remember growing up. Those were some of my favorite memories. Yes. My mom taking us and us picking out our backpacks and picking out, the type of notebook that I wanted. And to your point,
pencil case.
Lisa Frank. Lisa Frank. I loved Lisa Frank.
I don't even know what that is.
You don't even know. Forget it.
Okay, well, we had Hello Kitty.
Hello Kitty. Okay. All of it was good. But to your point, Rome, it's like your sense of identity is forming with each of those selections. It's like, who are you? Are you
feel on your first day when you're coming, with your dollar store composition book and folder, and then, brand new shoes, brand new backpack, and Lisa Frank folder shows up next to you. Yes. It's not a great way to start the school year.
Right. And I think as parents, like we do these things because we know the nerves. We know what's going on internally. Like it's our way of trying to help them start that day on their best footing, right? Like, how do I make them feel like their best self because they're going into a new school or a new group of people or all of these things? Like, it's more than the things, right? Mm-hmm. It's what's like we're doing it because of us wanting them to feel good and succeed in that first day. And your kids are not getting that beyond what you guys can provide unless people are donating or providing these additional resources. Yes. So they get that same. And it's so simple, it makes the biggest impact and difference.
Yes, they're already so anxious about the idea that people are going to find out that they're a foster child. There's so much stigma around, and you would not believe the things that other kids say what kids say to each other.
Because they go to school, right? They go to public schools. So like many of you out there, you may have children in foster care in your kids' classes. Yes. They might be sitting next to them at the cafeteria.
Yes. And unfortunately, when other children find out that a child is in foster care, please take this moment. Teach your child what to say and what not to say, and what to, you do not look at another child and go, your mom, when they get mad at your mom didn't want you, and that's why you're in foster care. Children say the cruelest things to each other. So they're already very anxious about, they're going to find out that I live in a group home. They're going to find out that I'm in foster care. And then, that makes what they look like even more important. They want to look normal. They want to look like everyone else. They want to have more than one pair of shoes. And I use shoes a lot when I'm talking to people because everybody's kid loves shoes. Our kids are no different. They do not want to wear generic Walmart Skechers because it was less expensive. They want to wear the cool shoes.
They want Nike.
Yes, they do. They do. They do. Yes. Yes. They want shoes. And they get so excited about it.
Nicole brings up a really good point that made me feel a little convicted. Even now, and I have a senior and a freshman. So even now, I'm so hung up on making everything so perfect. And I'm going through my brain about how much waste I've created at holiday time. All the garbage I buy them just to fill their stocking or do their Christmas Eve boxes. I'm creating so much waste, and I could be taking so much of that and saying, no, I'm going to use this money, this allocation, and give it to the kids at Children's Harbor or support the Holiday Hope campaign. I'm just thinking about to make everything so perfect for my kids who really do not give a shit about it at all.
It's so funny. Sebastian's 8, right? So he's growing into that now, where I remember the most recent holiday, I was really stumped on like what to get him because he was in the in-between. Like he doesn't play with toys anymore, right? And now he's kind of into how he looks and the things he has, and he's into electronics.
And Lego?
Lego is out. Lego, Lego had its heyday. It's gone. It came, it left. It's gone. It's technology. So I have to imagine, like, if he's 8 and he's into iPads and PS5s and Switches and the video games, I got to imagine your teens are too.
Oh my gosh, I just had a very, very long conversation with Dhooge about the PS5. Just very, very, very extended. He had a whole debate planned out as to why he should be able to get a PS5 for the holidays. And I'm like thinking, buddy, right now we've got $10 a kid. That's what we have right now. But I didn't say that, of course. But yes, they want that, and that's why we ask for gift cards. This is a great segue into it, because they do want expensive things because they're teenagers. Even their shoes are $150 each. So we ask for gift cards because you only may be able to give $50 or $25. I can take your $25 and her $50 and his $25, and we can turn it into a great pair of shoes. Right. But people don't want to give gift cards, and it's such a struggle.
Why don't they want to? It's so much easier to just drop off some gift cards.
Your kids like to pick what they actually want. But I would say, like, I have a thought in terms of, like, so one would be for all these people with teens, right? This is a conversation you could be having where you talk about what you want and then how they could get involved with giving something to a teen at Children's Harbor. That would be like that. But the other thing, and I started doing this years ago, and I'm thinking of it now in terms of gift cards, is that when holiday season rolled around and you send gifts, corporate gifts, clients, whatever, I stopped sending baskets of junk. And I would send donations in honor of to a charity of my choice. So a donation was made in honor of Tiffani from me and whatever, and with an explanation of what the charity was. And I would venture to challenge business owners that maybe they're giving gift cards in honor of their clients this year as an alternative to sending another basket of nuts and crap that ends up in the trash.
And then I can send them what happened with the gift that was made in their honor. That's a great idea. We should have talked about that before. We could have had like a whole thing.
Well, it's happening right now. It's happening in real
live
time.
on the
And now
episode.
people can start to think about it, because I had a client that had a baby. I sent a donation in honor of the baby, and he called me to say, this was literally the nicest gift I've ever received for a baby. It was his 4th baby. I'm like, I'm going to send him another onesie. His 4th girl.
More ways.
So
Another midnight moon.
I just think, like, what better way to do something really special that fills everyone's souls, right? Like, everybody wins.
On the topic of leveraging these opportunities for business and for really telling the story of what your business, what your brand represents, the values that you hold. I had told the story and started the episode about how I learned about Holiday Hope through Eric's email. Well, you better believe that last year when Tiffani came involved in our organization as a thought leader, I said to her, how are we going to work together for Holiday Hope? How are we going to make this campaign more powerful? What can we do? We have a bigger audience, a bigger community. How can we activate it for good? And you had told us about how you were going to be creating teams, right? And so you had created several teams with other organizations and companies in the community. And you better believe the Daily Drip had a team.
And you blew them out of the park.
I mean, I didn't want to go there, but we did. we really, I mean, it was no competition. It was no competition. But I do want to share this story to give some of our business leaders in the audience something to think about. You approached me and said, hey, listen, we're building teams. Do you and Romy want to create a team? Do you think any other Daily Drip thought leaders or anyone from your community would want to be a part of this team? And I said, you know what? I would, and I'm sure Romy would. And I bet if we throw it out there, a couple of the others will too. We ended up having, I think, 12 people total on the team. Mm-hmm. And how we presented it to everyone was, if you are going to be a fundraiser on our team, we're asking you to commit to raising $1,000. Where that $1,000 comes from, on you. But can you raise $1,000 for us? Can we raise $12,000, right? And we had a lot of people that volunteered. We made content around it. We asked each person to share their story about why they wanted to be a fundraiser on our team for this organization, this campaign. And I'll never forget Lisa Rigoli's video. I was there the day she was recording it. And I remember her saying, I remember growing up and my brother and I used to find things around the house and wrap them so that we had things to open on Christmas. And I'm sitting behind the camera and I'm bawling. I am just crying as she's talking, so composed and telling this story. And I mean, Lisa raised alone like $2,500, close to $3,000. And I remember we put that post out. I shared my why. We all kind of shared our whys. But on top of that, we sent out, I think, 3 emails to our database. 3 emails. I mean, we did not put a robust campaign together. We just said, hey, guys, we're doing this for the holidays. Here's how we want to show up. Here's how we want to use our platform for good. Can you help us? That year, between all the fundraisers on our team, the email blasts, the social media posts of sharing our why, we raised over $15,000 for that campaign. And I got to be honest, it didn't really take much. It was no different than reading Eric's email, copy and pasting it, and dropping it in our WhatsApp chat. It is not hard to gather resources, gather people. Most people want to do something good. They just don't know that option exists. They just don't know that problem exists. And then once they know, it's kind of hard not to say, let me throw $20 at this, $50 at this. I mean, I was surprised at how generous some of the people were in their giving. We had people giving $500, $1,000. One of our corporate partners gave $1,000 to this campaign. So I encourage you guys to think about this holiday season, how you will leverage your influence, your brand, your business for good. It's an opportunity to show the community, show your network, show your clients your values, what's important.
Over the years, being someone that was raising money for a cause that I was involved in, people often ask, like, how do you do that? Like, how are you doing that? And I'm like, I just ask. Like, and I think that people get stuck and hung up. They think philanthropy, they think donation, and they feel like it has a dollar amount attached to it. What they don't understand is literally every dollar counts. Like, if you could just get $10 from 10 people, if you put out a post and said, everyone who sees this, send me $1. How many of us have 1,000 people that follow? Like, it's so simple, and it's not the dollar amount. And there's so many ways that you can be effective and have impact. It is literally just using your voice. Just ask and share why it's important to you. People feed off your enthusiasm about why this is important. People got on board because they could see how much this meant to us last year. Lisa's story, demonstrated why this was important. And unless you are dead inside or you have no soul, how could that not be compelling? How can that not say, whoa, this is something I have to do. I have to give in some capacity. So if you don't have a big check to write, people, you can talk to people, you can share it, share the email, share our campaign. If you can't give, then share it with someone who can. There's a lot of ways. And when you're sitting there thinking, your goal is if I can just give these kids 1 or 2 gifts on these holidays, our kids are getting gifts from 10s, 15s, 20s of people, right? So aunts, uncles, cousins, you name it. And so I think this is something that is so easy for those of us to do, especially if we have a platform and a voice and a community. There's just, I don't know, I'm a little more harsh than Nick, but there's just no excuse.
There's no excuse.
There's just no excuse. I don't buy it. I think that everyone has something that they can give and bring to the table to make a difference in somebody else's life. It's really comes down to do it or don't do it. It's that simple.
Think about how many business owners just from the Daily Drip that are advisors. I'm a consultant for my clients. if they're asking me at the end of the year, well, what are we doing for tax planning? Oh, well, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. And I have a great organization for you. So all the people and business owners, all the professionals that advise to their clients, they don't just have to be in the tax space. They could be in any space where they're talking about year-end planning. HR consultants. Oh, how do you want to create a team building experience? Oh, yes. I have a great idea. Let's do a gift card drive instead of a toy drive. There's so many opportunities that business owners have in their space, not only to reach out to their network, but to create in conversation. Oh, we need to do some tax savings at the end of the year. Donor advised fund, charitable gift. Let's go to this event. There's all these ways that you can advise depending on what industry you're in.
And the team building effect. We had a healthy competition among all the Daily Drip.
Or non-healthy.
Yeah, or not so healthy. But no, we're competitive by nature. And look who's next to me right now. But we had a healthy competition and we challenged each other. And when I think about what that did for that group that chose to participate in and how we bonded over the competition of fundraising for a great cause, there's just so many reasons to do it. I just don't understand why you wouldn't. There's just too many reasons to do it. So
be selfish about it because it feels good. Do it for you. Because it feels awesome.
Oh, it feels amazing.
It feels fucking awesome.
Let me tell you, when I saw how much we blew those other jabronis out of the water, let me tell you, it felt amazing.
And this year is going to be epic.
Yeah.
I mean,
needless to say, we're doing it again. There will be a Daily Drip fundraising team. I'm excited to see which thought leaders will rise to the occasion. I'm excited to see how we can outdo ourselves as compared to last year. And really outdo ourselves, not just from the perspective of dollar raising, but from the perspective of sharing the story of Children's Harbor, sharing the story of making childhood happen. And Tiffani is always really good about letting us know how those dollars got put to good use. I mean, she is sending us real-time videos from campus and seeing their faces when they're opening these gifts. That makes it all worth it. That really does. So, this year for Giving Tuesday, which is on December 3rd, we're excited to announce that our charity of choice for the holidays will be Children's Harbor. We'll be doing a fundraising team. You know you want to fundraise for Nicole. I'm looking to beat my thought leaders. It's on. Me and Romy are very competitive.
And look, who wins? Children's Harbor.
Yeah, in the end, Children's Harbor wins.
So,
thank you so much. This is amazing. Thank you. Well, I don't even have words. I'm just listening to you guys and going, finally, somebody gets it. Thank you so much. Thank you for all that you're doing to help make this possible for them.
Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing. You're giving them everything. This is the easy part. Yeah. And that's really the point. It's like what we do is the easy part. What you and your team do, that's the real work.
And I think it's very special that you care enough to want to make these things happen for those kids. It's not just about
wicked awesome. I wish that everybody had the opportunity to truly get to know them, because it's often when they mess up, and they do, it's so hard to discipline because you're just trying to hold back your laugh. They are all of them have such unique potential. They're all their own character. Like I could write a book, a chapter on each kid, and it would just, you wouldn't put the book down. They've got such incredible personalities and thoughts and the perspective of the world. And
they have so much to offer. I know when Artie and I did the financial literacy at the end of last year, we did going into the new year, not blowing your budget. I did the more technical, boring accounting side, and Artie did the much more charismatic, fun side. You typically would not expect to get some of the questions and comments and thought-provoking ideas from some of these, young, I'm going to say, young adults, teens, because they're in the Browns Harbor side. But it was amazing, the questions they were asking. And then it evolved into an incredible conversation about what their goals were, goals. So, you create really valuable experiences for them during the holidays, and then they feel more valued, they have more self-worth, and then their ideas and their expressions come out because they feel more confident to talk about it. Yeah. Just because we put a campaign together for gifts.
Basic level. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. It's literally something every single person deserves. It's just that simple.
To feel safe and to feel loved and to feel worthy. And it sounds so bizarre, but just something as simple as making a childhood experience, making a holiday possible, manifests itself into so much more for them. It just opens that door to stepping into their power and overcoming this moment that they have been through, realizing they're more than what they've been through. It all starts with just meeting those basic needs of love and belonging.
Love and belonging. So as we wrap up this episode, consider how you're going to help people feel loved and belonged. Is that a word? Loved and belonged? How will you make people feel love and belonging? How will you use your powers for good? How will you use your influence for good? I hope you'll help the Daily Drip in using our platform and our resources for good. We can do so much more together, and looking forward to a successful Holiday Hope campaign.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Her Pursuit.
You can listen to new episodes every other Wednesday on Spotify or watch us on YouTube. Stay in the loop on all our virtual and in-person events, read our latest articles, and catch new episodes by subscribing to our free weekly newsletter.
Check out the episode notes for more details, and we'll see you here on our next episode of Her Pursuit.